Hello everyone, welcome to the first of a, series that's going to last a little bit, wherein we are going to be reading some of the works of the Nasuverse that are in literary form only. I know I called some of my videos for, say, Fate Stay Night and Tsukihime, I called them a Let's Read. However, they were still games in the end, with gameplay elements. Today is going to be the start of me doing proper, literary work. And what we're going to start with today is, if you couldn't tell from the title, is we're going to be reading Nautz. So Nautz is the canonical, well, I don't know. I'm not the biggest expert. I shouldn't say overwhelming, sweeping statements, but it's one of the first stories that is in the Nasuverse, written by Kinoko Nasu. It was available in a doujin called Angel Notes. However, the short novel we're going to be reading is just called Nautz. So how's this going to work, you might wonder? So I'm going to be reading, and you're going to be listening. Now, this isn't a just audiobook style reading, though. This is going to be, the best way to equate it is, imagine I was reading a story to you for the first time, and every now and then I might make an interjection, literary reference, I mean to, my arrow gaze and stuff. That's just how it is with the Nasuverse. But we're going to be reading and otherwise just having a nice kind of relaxing time. So sit back, grab yourself a nice something to drink. I will have the text on the screen if you would like to read along, if you're one of those types. But otherwise, this series is going to be pretty relaxing. We're going to be doing some reading. We're going to be reacting. And I'm looking forward to discussing this with you. If you're wondering about what some of the plans are for stuff to read, well, I've already confirmed that we'll be looking at the final Garden of Sinners novel, which is only in light novel form, as well as we'll be looking at, who knows, maybe some other Fate stuff. But for now, let's get started with Nautz. So, to begin with, we do have an author's note here. I apologize if this page looks a bit weird. This is just a weird exception page. The rest of it will look a bit more normal. This author's note is justified to the side, so not much we can do about that. Anyways, Nautz, Kinoko Nasu. This is what I wrote when I was invited to make an anthology comic on the topic of angels. However, the anthology wasn't text-based and the other two were artists, so I was in trouble. What is the meaning of a novel when over half of the book was pictures? Especially when it's a short novel. That's how I came up with the irregular Nautz after my doubtfulness. I remember I was pretty satisfied with what I came up with, considering it was completed in such a short time. Although it's unpleasant to the eyes, it brings back memories when I cut and pasted what I typed out from the word processor. If I ever get the chance, I would love to make this into a real series of story too. I always think about that when I look at the Black Barrel. Oh, the Black Barrel. We've heard tell of a Black Barrel for sure, being, I think, one of the weapons of the Atlas Institute, if I'm correct. So, we'll have to see. Well, here we go. Let's turn the page. Sadly, there's no satisfying page-turning sound because we are digital, but alas, we must suffice with a click. Nautz. So we have here a couple chapters. Original Sin, Public Garden, Roman, After Images, How a Star is Born, Glitter Love. Okay. The aircraft rose further up in the troposphere. The sea of ashen clouds had yet to disappear. Iron wings soared in the gray sky to annihilate the common enemy of the human race. At the end of the battle, all but one of the aircrafts that had participated in the mission were destroyed. Perhaps he was lucky that an obsolete AI was piloting it. The AI controlled the plane. The AI control plane, I also apologize, there might be stumbles every now and then. That's just, you know I do that. The AI-controlled plane was the only one that was unaffected by the heat of the enemy. I continued to fly by myself. The organic pulsations echoing the machine were, just as I thought, belonged only to myself. I opened the hangar and drew out my gun. The air flowing in the machine was cold, burning my lungs. The internal temperature had reached below zero. The coat he wore carried minimum meaning. It was at a level that would just barely sustain organic life. This aircraft, which had only been intended to act as a transport for flight-capable species, was unequipped with weaponry. If I were to fight, I had to risk my life. Arctic cold and rampaging winds. The corpses of my comrades, spinal fluid leaking out from their noses and ears laid behind me. An old aircraft which could crash at any moment. The situation was so absolutely bleak that I felt like singing out loud. Holding the black barrel, which I modified for sniping, I did nothing but await for the enemy. For the moment the enemy would enter the scope. For the moment I could pull the trigger and be at ease. 7 days have been added to the clock on the plane. Only 7 days had passed. My paralyzed brain felt like I could continue staying like this for another month, or maybe another year. My body was always on the verge of collapsing. How many days and months have it been? My mind, my language, myself. Just when I had lost everything, I recollected everything back. The gun sight caught the Genemy H. I don't know what that is. I pulled the trigger without hesitation. My brain that punched through its limits was scorched. Just one brief moment before I fell into unconsciousness. Just one sight before I blacked out. Just a moment before I was about to fade away. I witnessed the form of my enemy. How beautiful. Between a rift in the clouds, I saw an angel. Huh. So 0/Godo, boy, even now he loves his slashes. Angel notes the Meteor of Knight Arms. And overcount 1999 type other. None of that makes any sense to me. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. So this is a weird thing. This part is written like half and half on the screen. So I'm assuming I do the entire left column and then the entire right column, but we'll see. Okay. So after I came back home from work, I saw an angel in my room holding a guitar. I guess I've finally gone insane. Long, blonde, wavy hair, and a pure white one-piece dress. A face that left hints of girlish youth and a ring of light floating on top of her head. If this wasn't an angel, I sure as hell didn't know it was supposed to be one. Good evening, the angel bowed with an awkward smile. After rubbing my eyes, I walked inside. The angel kept standing in the middle of the room holding a guitar and for some reason was looking at me excitedly. Okay, who the hell are you? I'm an angel, she laughed with a smile. Yeah, I can tell. What I meant was, why are you in my room? If you were here to sell yourself, you came to the wrong room. I hate to break it to you, but I'm not making enough cash to buy an angel. I'm not here for that. What's the best way of putting it? I'd like to do your housework. I can do that myself. Get out. Now, I just can't do that. You see, I can do anything. Since she was full of confidence, I let her clean the place up. The result has seemed far more gruesome than a tragedy. My cooking's perfect, the angel said, quickly sticking up her index finger. No thanks. I can't take factory-produced food. There's too much nutrition and the veins will rupture. You get what I'm saying? The angel nodded. Seems like she knew at least that I was a human, not part of the A-race species. Okay, so what else can you do? I can play the guitar, she said happily, stroking the guitar. Her blue guitar was one of the types that use electricity to produce sound. It wasn't the kind of merchandise that went well with angels. And not just that, she just plain sucked. Get out. I took the angel's hand and kicked her out from the window. Days passed, and I went to the hospital. There's nothing wrong with your brain, answered a fish-faced doctor. And so every day after finishing work, I wasted energy chasing away that angel. Eventually, I gave up bothering. The sky. It's dark, the angel muttered as she looked out at the sky from the window. An angel that didn't even know that. Figures. She didn't seem to be one of the artificial angels included in the A-rays. Hey, Where'd you come from? I'm guessing you're not an A-ray on this side of the rift. I'm not an A-ray. Well, then what are you? I'm a being that was created from the hopes and dreams of people living in this city. That's why I'm so pretty. I'm glad that everyone had such pure souls. The angel twirled around happily. The edge of her skirt wavered like a dress. Now that she mentioned it, she seemed unreal. The angel was too beautiful to be an inhabitant of the land of steel. Her golden hair was so dazzling that instead it projected poison. So that means she's an illusion only I can see. So why is the manifestation of everybody's imagination in my room? Because it's you who killed me! She seemed to be mad that I didn't realize. More so the fact that I killed her. Or that I didn't realize that, more so than the fact that I killed her. When I asked her if she came here to get revenge, she answered back, "What's revenge?" The angel turned out to be pretty handy and learned many things gradually. Now she apparently grasped what it means to clean. The only exception was anything involving the guitar. I'm not improving with the guitar at all. I'm playing it just like I'm imagining it, but what if what I'm thinking and what's coming out are completely different? So there was a song she wanted to play. Of course she wouldn't get any better. No shit, this guitar hasn't been tuned. Yep, it was screwed up from the beginning. The angel tilted her head and asked, "What's tuning?" Very interesting so far, very interesting. I'm definitely noticing there's a couple things. Right off the bat, domestic life cooking. Nasu loves that stuff, right? We know. We're seeing that literally day one. Also blondes. I think he has a thing for blondes. I think. So this is, okay. So far, very, very open. And I think the thing with short stories, and this is the thing that I think a lot of people don't understand about short stories. Again, I'm an English teacher. I'm going to bring this up. You need to just go along with it, and you might not understand what's going on until the very end. After it's done, if you have questions, that's when you discuss. But the important thing is to just move along, to go with it, and eventually you should come to a conclusion. That's the thing about a short story. Short novels in particular, too, because there's only so much time. So that was Original Sin. Okay, so this is interesting. This says now Angel Notes. So this looks like just is this literally notes from angels? Let's see here. Cloud sky. Sora ga kurai. The sky, it's dark. Sky covered by great clouds. The thick layers of cloud hides the sky since the Great War. It doesn't mean the sky is gray. They just can't see the sky. Number 20, Guardian Angel, Tenchi, Angel. Artificial angels within the 100 A rays. The 20th species within the 100, but it is equal to the top 10 just considering its power to destroy objects. A mask that protects a single A-ray species. The original is an angel in the largest religion of the Old Age, a human type that has a pair of bird wings. Aggressive species that uses the absorbed heavy particle that's scattered in the atmosphere after the world got destroyed as its source of power. Okay. Last seed, Ningen, humans. Human species who hasn't received any modification or their descendant. Since they are no longer able to survive on the planet, it's said they are on the verge of extinction. In order for humans to live outside, they need support from medication or machines. They can't directly inhale the air, nor can they eat the food made in the factory because they raise the physical ability too much that they become poisonous. They are rare but have no value. Okay, so we're in, so okay, the bottom, that's the angel notes. Those are your, your glossary. Okay, that makes sense. So, humans are dying out from a great war. Angels, artificial angels. Very interesting. Okay, so it seems with humans dying out, we're getting other species. Let's continue. Oh, there's just more information here. Overcount 1999, Hagane no Daichi, the land of steel. A planet that died. A globe that reached its end. A world where living things can't live. The name of the world in the present time. It's not its official name, but a nickname passed down between the people who live in the corrupted land. Like the name Land of Steel indicates, a large part of the continent are now wild lands that are torn apart, covered by a tainted gray-colored cloud. Food can't be grown and the atmosphere is no longer suited for animals. To put it in a human species way, a drastic end of a century. But even after the mother planet died, the humans were able to live on it with its developed civil technology. Even the planet's end, where people once imagined, couldn't bring an end to mankind. Very interesting. Okay, well, yeah, what are these A-rays? A-ray hyakushu, the 100 subspecies. Next generation primates. Oh. The A-rays are the next generations, huh? Next generation primates that were created by the human species who used up all the planet's resources. They are modeled after the living things that used to exist on the planet. They were modified or enhanced in order for them to survive on the corrupted planet. There were numerous branches to the A-rays, and they categorized into about 100 major species. From 1 to 10 consists of only one type of A-rays each and not a mass. Okay. Some carry the genes of humans and they look like us, but a large part of them are mixed or evolved with various creatures and primates. Well, like they said, the fish-faced doctor. It's pretty literal there. Liner, Ningen Shu, the human species. Human race on the Land of Steel. An evolved form of the old humans who adapted to this world without changing their shape. They technically belong to the A-rays as well. They were able to adapt and live on in today's environment, but they still don't carry any ability more than a normal human. They are building a country in order to reconstruct their old civilization, ceasefire with the 100 A-rays. Okay. Babel's Tale Tyson, the Great War. After the death of the planet, there was a war between the survived human race and the 100 A-rays. Mankind, in order to survive, and the A-race to rule the world. Under the Six Sisters who united the unmasked A-rays, the human race were on the verge of defeat. Near the end of the war, mankind created the Knights and the human species, and it further killed the planet that's already dead. There was no victor to this war. It was interrupted by an intruder that suddenly appeared and nearly wiped both sides. Oh, okay. Ether Liner, Kishi, Knights. Life form that received an even stronger effect from the drastic environment. They wield a special weapon called the demonic swords. Oh, well, bringing up those, we know those in the Nasuverse for sure. Aggressive species that can fight the A-rays equally without any of the sports of the firearms of the old age. There are currently 78 knights enlisted. Also have the knight arms, the Maken. So this is what they wield here. Demonic or magical swords. The name of the weapon that knights carry. All human species born in this world are affected by jinn. Babies born with large amount of jinn in them shape it as if it's their bones during their lives. When they reach adulthood, it is laid outside their body. Because it is created from the unanalyzed entity jinn, it is able to create various effects, and its power is strong enough to be considered a weapon. Only few humans can shape the demonic swords, and those who carry demonic sword powerful enough to be used for war considered knights. Only one demonic sword exists per knight. So literally, your baby is born with good, potential. They then extract the jinn and turn it into a weapon. Well, okay. Jinn is space dust. That's intriguing, considering I collect that all the time in grand order. Name given to the harmful and unpredictable particles generated from the planet that lost its function. Though it's harmful to humans, sometimes it gives a unique effect to the body, and some call it ether. Oh, okay. The 100 A-rays human species knights are all new species created by this jinn. The energy transfer rate of the jinn scattered in the atmosphere is incredible, and it resulted in a new level of warfare that was never thought possible on this planet. With A-rays who can take in jinn into their body, and demonic swords crystallized by the jinn, all weapons of the old age become useless. Oh my goodness. This is very interesting. Okay, let's continue. A female body having a pair of bird wings on the back. On top of that, if it also has a beautiful form, then the life form is called an angel. My job was to shoot down 20 of those angels a day. That's why it wasn't surprising for me to be seen as an enemy by all who are angels. came to this city a year ago. The strangest city within the land of steel. No plants were able to grow on the soil of this planet. However, there were numerous gray-colored trees within the city, and even a withered grass field on top of a hill. In the hill at the center of the city, there were 2 gigantic trees that covered the sky. These trees reached the sea of clouds. It was called the world trees for their size. I chose my job as an angel hunter. In this city, angels come down from the sky and attack people every day. Although they do attack people, they're only at an annoying level of wild dogs. Not many were actually affected. But if we left them alone, the city would be filled with angels, so the city council had to hire hunters. I don't know if the angels have a set location they come down to, but I saw a lot of them in the forest of the city outskirt. Pulling on the trigger of the gun, I absorbed the impact on my shoulder. The naked angel fell down and hit the floor as it was shot in the forehead. On the floor of the forest, there were leaves, a countless number of dead angels. Going across the rough surface of the earth, I returned into the walls that surrounded the city. A beast man, who was appointed in another area, was waving his hand as he approached me. Sorry, I was just thinking right there. Oh, hey, beastmen. Right, those were... We fight those in Grand Order quite a bit. Hey, how's it going? Not much. 3 coppers per kill. If I consider the cost of a bullet, I won't even have a single copper for myself. It's because you use a gun. If you're a man, use your body. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm not that well built. I even need to take medication in order to get oxygen. I'm doing my best just to live. I see. You humans are so inconvenient. Indeed. Being human is inconvenient. Yes, in this world, humans are certainly inconvenient. That's why human beings in the old age made a lot of creative tools. As a result, A-rays were invented, and that ended up as the Great War. That's how pure human beings were gone. After a freeloader called the Angel stayed at my house, I increased my workload. That angel ate food. Although the materials produced at the factory is free, there's a limit to it. So I had to increase my daily quota from 20 to 30. How ironic was it to kill more angels to feed an angel? Working hard lately. I'm just releasing my stress. These targets actually look very alike to the cause of my stress and makes this lame job exciting. I couldn't help it, and let it out. The beastman tilted his head. It's a good thing you're dedicated to your job. But watch out, they said there were some knights who were inspecting the forest. I heard a demonic sword user was looking for you. What does that mean? Is there an Aristoteles coming this way? I'm sure we'll learn what that is as we read the bottom. I don't know. More importantly, our pay is supposedly lowered this month again. That's a realistic problem. Right. Is the Financial Bureau ready to kill us now? I never done anything wrong, though. Says a prisoner who'd murdered over 50 human species. The beastman sighed as he looked at the pile of dead angels scattered across the floor. Hey, do you think we can eat them? He muttered a bad idea. Forget it. You'll be punished by heaven, I bet. Made an obvious reply as I shrugged my shoulders. Yeah, hit me up with what is this Aristoteles? It just says 1. 8 life forms that appeared near the end of the war. Unknown existences. Not only their appearance, but each of their biology differs significantly. The reason they use this name is a mystery, but the origin is probably assigned to the old age. Considering mankind and A-Ray as their enemies, they repeatedly attack them indiscriminately. Mankind were broken their platform completely. Every now and then I read a sentence like, does that make sense? And that does make sense. And the 100 A-Rays decreased in number significantly by them. After the Great War was over, they slowed down their activity by the sea of clouds that cover the sea, but they still continue to slaughter the living things on the planet. Since then, the human species and the A-Rays ceased fire, so they destroy the common enemy. They group themselves together as the human race. Oh, so these are the guys that came in halfway. On my way home from work, I got caught by an angel. Not the angel at home, but an actual angel within the A-Ray branch. You're not very sociable lately. Rejecting an invitation from a pretty person like me, you must be important. Sorry. No, I read that wrong, because I didn't think it would say this. You must be an impotent. She said that as she pushed me into a bar and offered a glass of alcohol. It's true, I haven't spoken to her for about half a year. But we're having some casual conversation. A bunch of hecklers butted in. They say the angel should accompany the A-rays instead of a human. I thought so too, but she shut them up by a glare. I'm sorry, were you offended? Yeah, I don't feel good about it, but they're right. Why do you care about someone like me? Don't the A-rays find a love partner in order to produce stronger species? I won't be able to create strong children. It doesn't hurt for It doesn't hurt for an expection. What? Okay. You mean an exception? Probably an exception. I think that's an actual mistake. Doesn't hurt for an exception, does it? Besides, our outside appearance matters more for us. There are not many species that are close to angels, and you're my type. There's no problem. She said that as she drank the purple fizz in her glass. Her appearance was a real angel. Her wings weren't used for flying, but used as a dish to collect the heavy particles in the surroundings. The angel species were able to fly without wings. Originally being the protectors of the A-ray called the Six Sisters, the angels were considered to have equal fighting power as the knights who carried the demonic swords. In other words, they can perform a destructive activity as a nuclear bomb of their own. As we drank more alcohol and more or less of... Whoa, sorry, sometimes, every now and then, a sentence comes up. As we drank more alcohol and more or less of our true characters were shown, she asked a weird question. Hey, why do you use a gun? Humans can't use gin like A-rays, you know. Our strength is limited as well, so it's natural we have to rely on weapons. What other practical firearms are there other than a gun? That means humans aren't made to fight. But why do you still fight? Let's see. If I recall correctly, my family was killed when I was small. That's when I dug up a gun and practiced shooting so I can take revenge. Oh, typical. Yeah, it's typical. I tried to laugh, but I couldn't. I never succeeded in trying to make a forced smile. But doesn't a family mean they were of the same species? I never heard of any humans living around here. I haven't told you, have I? I was originally born in Westland, the other side of the Great Rift. Westland? You mean the continent that got wiped out by the Black Aristoteles? Surprised, she fell silent. When Westland was completely scorched, I was a kid of only 12 or 13. An old story from almost 7 years ago. By the way, do you still do that job? I apologize, it's really cut down there. Let me zoom in a bit. Oh, you can't even see. Yeah, there's no way. It's right at the bottom of the page. You're not going to see that. So, that's okay. I can read it. I do. There isn't any other job for a half-wit like me. I don't want to be kept under a protection as a rare species either. What, are you still complaining? They're different from you. Don't be so concerned, it's silly. I am concerned. I don't mind others to do it, but it makes me angry to think that you of all people are killing angels every day. Hey, why do you hunt angels? That's because I'm twisted. It's my job. I can't help it. I said that without looking at her eyes. She gave me a cold look, seeing through my lie. You're right. You've quit thinking. That's why you don't feel any pain. But on the other hand, you don't have any happiness either. You never have fun by recalling the past either. Your life must be like the machine you use. That's why you need to rely on something like logical reasoning in order to motivate yourself. The angel said that with a discontent expression. But what's so wrong with being a machine? Hey, there's another one for the Nasu bingo. Machine-like people metaphors. A theory that higher life forms, having emotions, was a real fantasy. What's wrong with you today? You seem to be very picky. No kidding. It's because you won't talk to me. The drunken angel isn't very appealing. What do you mean? I may look like this, but I'm very popular in my hometown. Answering, yeah, I sipped on my glass. I was supposed to restrain myself tonight, but I'm passing out before her. The angel asked me her last question. Hey, why do you fight? It's because I don't want to die. Then why don't you want to die? Probably because I want to live. Why do you want to live? That's obvious, because I never got to experience anything good. Is that so? Needing logical reason in order to live. You're an underdeveloped life form. Wow. Dang, that's a burn. Saying that, she left first. But how can I help it? Because the human race kept on living by their instinct, the world died once. Having to rely on pessimistic reasoning is the only punishment given to humans who were left behind. This is really good. Okay, here we go. Number 1, Sevig, System 2, Earth. I'm almost certain that those are all absolutely written by Nasu himself doing his best. At the time of the Great War, beings that ruled over the 100 A-rays. It said they look just like humans, and that all 6 looked like witches in a fairy story wearing a black hat and riding a broomstick. Huh, okay, okay. Each one carried an ability that surpassed all the 100 A-rays. Near the end of the Great War, the younger sister, Judge, was defeated by a knight, but her death cry tore a continent apart. The whereabouts of the remaining 5 is unknown. Oh, this is interesting. I see the word type. So, the types are something I know about. I've heard tell of the types. I've definitely heard, I mean, heck, the company is Type Moon, right? So the types are, they're interesting. I don't know anything about them, though. That's the thing. I should say, I don't know anything about them, but I keep hearing reference brought up every now and then. Someone in the comments will be like, oh, that's like type whatever. And it's like, I, for one, I'm just like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. But I'm curious for sure. So we'll see here. Type. So we have Kuroi Aristoteles, the Black Aristoteles, type Jupiter, an Aristoteles that appeared in the western continent, a black giant, several dozen kilometers in size. Its form was close to a human. It was actually a group of black photon gas. Theoretically, its size can expand infinitely. It carries an unknown core in its center that can only be described as an artificial sun, and the gases were emitted from this object. Of the 8 Aristoteles, it eliminated the most living things. The western continent went on about an all-out battle and wiped them out without a scar, although there's probably no such thing as a scar to this Aristoteles. After this incident, a team of knights were sent to the western continent. This is... I don't know how to put this. It's definitely giving me feelings about I'm trying to piece together what these could be. But if it's the first thing in the Nasuverse, I shouldn't, because this is the start. Anyways, after this incident, a team of knights were sent to the western continent. After a fierce battle, it was sliced in half by the demonic sword of Knight Adem, the Slash Emperor. That's sick. The chopped artificial sun went berserk and burned the whole western continent. Definitely big, and I shouldn't say this because I haven't really engaged with them much. This feels to me like what Evangelion is with like the angels. I mean, haha, the angel. But like this feels very similar with a lot of some of the stuff that I know from Eva without touching Eva, because I tried, but then I got a couple episodes in, and then I said, I don't think I'll ever be in the right headspace to engage with Eva, so I stopped. Anyways, type Saturn, Jujika, the cross. A cross-shaped Aristoteles that is 3,000 meters long. Wow. Its outer shell is comprised of an illuminating material and there's nothing else. This flying object fires a rain of light to the ground from its body. The rain is a cross-shaped electric impact that is a meter long, and it explodes as it hits the ground, annihilating the living things around it. There are variations to this cross-shaped light, and some causes an earthquake that tears the earth apart as it lands on the ground. The crosses stuck on the ground are just like tombs spreading about the wild land. AKA the Flying Fortress, it seems to be the leader of the Aristoteles that are on the planet. Interesting. Now this I'm excited about. Longinus, the Black Barrel. I've heard tell of the Black Barrel. A black rifle that the gun god uses. I'm sorry, that the gun god uses? Okay. Created by a mineral that counters all gin. It's a weapon that is feared by life forms that carry any slight amount of gin. But because all living beings that exist in the world are affected by gin, it's impossible for them to use or even touch it. The God Killer Gun. If the target creature is stronger, in other words, the more gin it carries, the more powerful the bullet becomes. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, that's rad. Today, only the rare species that weren't able to evolve and doesn't carry any gins can touch this gun. We now have the Blood Sky, Sora ga Akai. Sora ga Akai. The sky, it's red. The sky in this world, above the gray sea of clouds, there's not a blue but a red sky. It's not because of pollution, but from the blood of one of the Aristoteles that appeared near the end of the Great War type Pluto. In order to not let Pluto enter the planet's atmosphere, the six sisters fought it and killed each other at the same time. And its blood covered the whole planet as a result. Okay, I don't know much about Eva, but isn't that literally a thing in Eva? The gray cloud is said to be a shield that the six sisters placed. Within this red sky, the two Aristoteles that are prevented from entering the Earth, from planet, is floating like fishes that swim in the Red Sea. So now we have type Venus. Ten no Nagikara, Heaven's Corpse. An Aristoteles estimated to be about 1,000 meters long. It appeared after the Great War and was flying in the Sea of Clouds. Its shape was never confirmed by anyone and its details were unknown. A life form that had a pair of wings, and compared to the other Aristoteles, it was close to this planet's species. According to the records, it was shot down on the mission by the Knights in the 83rd year of the new calendar, and it fell somewhere on the continent. Originally, it was a life form that lands on the planet of Earth, rooting itself and spreading its spore as it eats away the planet. It can also be described as a giant carnivorous plant. It was put to sleep by the Black Barrel. Okay, continuing the story. Slipping through the busy streets of the city, I returned to my room. The angel was stubbornly still there. It's winter soon. The temperature would break the critical freezing point, and the city would soon literally freeze. But I didn't think of passing my second winter in the city. There's a lot of commotion in the city lately, the angel said as she looked down from the window. The large window, larger than the angel, looked like a window of a church that I once saw in a picture book. The angel with blonde hair and bright white wings bent over with a sad face. Behind her, the city and the two world trees were blurry like a mirage. Everything was inside a world in steel color. Only this angel was as pretty as if it was a nightmare. The angel looked down at the distant ground. The city was packed with people who were trying to leave. What is everyone doing? They're moving out altogether. The neighboring area was destroyed by a 3,000-meter Aristoteles. Calculating its progressing route, they said it will pass through the city in 3 days. Above me? Above us, it might collide with the world tree. Either way, everything in its path is destroyed. It's obvious why people are running away. Oh, so that's why everyone's so desperate. The angel said that as she looked down vacantly. Glancing at the angel, who's just standing there, I started to pack my belongings. I pushed my winter equipments and clothings, personal air maker, and several guns into my bag. I decided to leave everything else behind. Are you going too? Yeah, because I don't want to die. But not right away. I'll go out on my own after the commotion dies down there. The angle. Okay, it's not just me making these mistakes. There's some occasionally. The angle sadly lowered her eyes because she was always happy for no reason. That just made her look really, really lonely. This may be my last time, so let me ask you a question. What were you after all? The angel made a sigh without any seriousness. I could only make out that she wasn't the existing species of angels. That's why I wanted to know the truth, at least in the end. A plain reply of the angel. what everyone calls the Aristoteles. Oh, okay. You don't know? The angel looked at me like that. Aristoteles, the thing that suddenly appeared on this planet, became the enemy of all living things. An unpredictable enemy where not only was there no method of communication, their biological structure as a living thing was unclear. See, as soon as they said that one got shot down and it was human-like, I knew immediately. Yeah, was as their biological structure as a living thing was unclear. And that was at a little city like this, in a room of a deserted tower, shaped like an angel and playing a guitar? What kind of a joke was that? No living things on this planet was able to stand up against this life form. What a punishment by God. Really? You? Oh no, that thing at the base of the city, to be exact. What I was shot down and fell to this place. It was an instant death. Trees grew and people started living on top of that. The angel goes on. This planet has no longer any power to raise life. That's why greens won't grow. But if it was on top of another life instead of Earth, they would. I'm not normally this kind of thing, but I ended up like this. What everyone calls the world trees are the wings of what used to be me. In other words, feathers of the wings. The falling feathers took shape of what I used to look like. I was originally that kind of invading life form. It's not the angels that were originally on this planet. But you're shaped like an angel. Because I'm everyone's fantasy. The body of what I used to be died already. But it seems like something like the mind was still alive. But a concept of a mind never existed to me. The species of this planet have a really wonderful ability to form shape out of knowledge. Using everyone as a model, I formed a shape out of my knowledge that I had but never used. The reason I'm shaped like an angel is because it's the closest image of the shape of what I used to be. That's how I was able to communicate with everyone, by creating the same thought circuit. I was able to become myself by taking the form of this imaginary angel. The angel detached herself from a thing called Aristoteles by becoming an illusion. She was able to acknowledge herself for the first time by becoming something not herself. She's already no one, but a realization of an image of an angel that the people imagined on their own. Are you happy? The angel happily replied, yes. Only an illusion standeth here. I see an angel, I see. An angel can only live within an imagination. I have to recall the definition of an angel. That it had wings, a halo, being really beautiful, and then it's only an illusion. After all, a thing that brings you hope can only be a fantasy. When I thought about that, the angel sadly replied, you're right. I wish I was a real angel. With an appearance that looked more like an angel than an actual angel, she said something like that. Oh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, God. Oh, no, this is a bad time. This is all peak ASMR. I can't have sneezing. Okay, we're good. A huge flying cross moved away within the ashen clouds. The thing, which changed its course, started disappearing from sight as it kept pouring the rain of judgment. It seems like the battle is over. The airplane that I was on kept increasing its altitude through the troposphere. On the side of the plane was a big hole. The wounded iron bird could no longer listen to what it's told to do. I kept on flying till its end, as if it's the dream of all who have wings. Sooner or later, it will fly out of the ashen sea of clouds and reach the stratosphere. My body wasn't built so strong that I could breathe at such a place, but I don't have to worry about that. There's no guarantee that I would be alive by the time I reach there. I leaned on the wall as I brought down my gun. The door of the hangar remained open, just like how I was. Cold air blew in and I could see the earth very well. Land without colors. Even the ocean in the distance was colorless. That was a world that is completely dead. Even then, this world of steel, even then, felt so precious and my vision blurred. I've seen something like this 5 years ago. That day, the enemy that appeared through the clouds was beautiful, more beautiful than anything. A pair of wings and a figure that somehow resembles a human. I shot that thing that looked like an angel. The bullet is nothing more than a grain of bead to that thing, drilled into its forehead and dropped the angel. That moment, the instant I pulled the trigger, Our eyes met through the scope. There was no communication. That's all. But since then, I kept dreaming of that thing falling down the sea of clouds forever. The angel that accompanied the plane woke up. One of her wings was horribly ripped. Being a high-ranking species of the A-race, she was naturally forced to join the mission, but jumped in here after getting heavily wounded. She only came here to rest her wings, but we were out of luck. The moment she came in, when the hangar opened, and the arrow of light hit this plane that was too close to the cross. The light pierced through her wing and the body of the plane, and took out her consciousness and the plane's AI. And now, several minutes later, the angel who was unconscious slowly woke up. Good morning. When I said that to her, she turned around and looked outside. The thing called Aristoteles was disappearing in the distant direction. I told the angel, who was spacing out our total loss and the success of the mission. The angel approached in joy. As she crawled on the floor, since she couldn't stand up, her hand slipped on something wet. My blood that spilled over the floor made a pool and dyed the angel's body red. When you shoved me aside? Without answering her question, I just gazed outside. Over the limitless clouds, the airplane kept on flying upwards. The sky that I saw for the first time was different from what I read about in books. The sky, it's red. Repeating a phrase I once heard somewhere, I couldn't hold the strength in my hand anymore. The black gun fell to the floor. The black gun. So you really were the person who shot the bird down. I guess that's what people say, but I used all my luck back then. Look at this mess now. Idiot, because you saved me. How can I help it? I wouldn't want a pretty girl like you dying in front of my eyes. I said something really showy. It was so silly that it made me laugh. That doesn't suit your character, she said that too. We kept on laughing without looking each other's way. There was a small, weak and gentle voice. You've changed. You weren't this honest with your feelings before. So it is true you found someone else other than me. I wonder if there really was such a thing. Although, if it's the angel who said she'd rather be a fake, she must still be waiting in my room for me to return. They say that angels cure one's mind, not body. But that's not true. People don't change because of others. I was always like this. I just acted like I didn't care. But I was really a good person. You couldn't tell, could you? Oh, really? Yeah, really. I wanted to be a hero when I was small, too. Hey, check. Another one for the Nasu bingo. I was immature. Probably now, too. That's why I go. You probably could still fly down to the ground even with one wing. You don't need to come with me. She stood up and looked at me strictly for some reason. Are you going to be okay? To be alone till the end? Didn't I tell you? I wanted to look cool. Because I wanted to be a hero. I want to be alone at the end. Because I was all alone until now. I think my clumsy forced smile went well. Probably the best in my life. Goodbye then. Flapping her single-sided wing, she flew out. She looked like a fish of an angel that swam in the Red Sea. I stood up and sat on the cockpit. Not knowing what I'm doing myself, I tried fixing the broken AI. If I still have some luck left, my fate might change. When I closed my eyes, I heard a voice. Why do you fight? Because I want to die, of course. Why didn't you want to die? Because I wanted to live, of course. Then, why do you want to live? That's obvious. It's because the farthest limit of my memory. Only that answer was different than before. Just when I was about to leave the city, I got caught by a messenger of the military. Someone must have remembered an old story from 5 years ago and enlisted me in the mission. When I returned to the room to pick up the black barrel that I left to rot, the angel was still there. Are you going to fight that? Looks like it. The knights are assembling too. And the military is eager to do it. They're aiming to at least change the cross's course. If that's it, then the possibility isn't zero. It's impossible. Everyone doesn't understand what an Aristoteles is. It isn't a life form of the planet. There's no chance of winning. How could that be? In reality, we've already defeated 3 Aristoteles. If we have more firepower than them, it's not an unstoppable opponent. I don't know about that. They can't be judged by this planet's common sense. That's why even a concept of death doesn't exist for them. They won't stop until they reach their objective. Objective? You guys have such a thing? Yes, it's not our own objective, but we do. They arrived here to fulfill the wish of this planet. This planet died by the influence of the life forms that lived on it. The planet itself doesn't have a feeling of grief. Even perishing by the influence of its own life forms is all right. A planet only carries a will, it carries no meaning. But there is an exception. The planet is able to forgive it because life forms that follow the same fate as the planet. But the human species were able to live on, even on the dead land. The planet was frightened by the existence that kept living on top of its death and cried out for help at its end. Please, wipe out the life forms that are still alive. I see. So that's who you guys are. When I muttered that, the angel said no as she shook her head. The only ones who were able to hear the cry of the planets were also the planets. No. We were the highest-ranking species of those planets who received the will of this planet. For example, the Aristoteles that was called the Heavens Corpse, what I used to be, was the most superior individual on Venus. Huh. What? Without knowing, I lost my breath. Our enemies were species that ruled over the alien branches of another planet where our common sense doesn't apply. The strongest life form on the planet, who was, in other words, the planet itself. The human species who survived on this planet, to put it simply, were fighting the 8 planets. Yeah, there's no chance of winning. You got that right. Yes, the angel nodded sadly. On top of that, it's them who are right. Jeez. If humans accepted the prophecy in the 2000th year, we would have gotten away by just being the victim. No! The ones who are wrong are the Aristoteles. They don't have any will. Isn't it a bad thing to erase lives without having a will? The angel who learned the common sense of this planet said that. Oh, that was her said that. Okay, I got that wrong. God, one problem I have with Nasu, boy, you need to say who's saying stuff more. Okay. Or, well, I guess when you're reading it, just normally, you would just go back and reread it with a different idea, but okay. So she said, no, the ones who are wrong are the Aristoteles, they don't have any will. The angel who learned the common sense of this planet said that, but there was no longer any notion of right or wrong on the planet. The only simple rule is that you either live or die. That's why, because I live till now, I'm not going to be on the dying side. It won't change anything. I don't have any reason to fight either. I probably will never have. At the point that we are just killing each other for no reason, we're equal. Isn't that the most simple way of life? The angel won't answer. What are you going to do? You know you have the same objective. That cross and you are different things, right? Then your body will be destroyed along with the city. You said you died instantly, but that's in our standards. I doubt the concept of death on this planet applies to a life form on another planet. Aren't you able to move already? The angel facing down shook her head. No. If I move, the outer shell of the wings will shatter. All the leaves of what everyone calls the world tree will fall. If that happens, uncountable number of angels will come pouring down. If that happens, everyone will die before the Aristoteles come. Gloomy Angel said that. She's right. The number of leaves of that tree that reaches the clouds is far more than the number of surviving human species. Billions of released angels will cover the whole planet in no time. But you'll die if you don't. It's all right. I am the people here. I am only an image created by them. It's just that they provided you knowledge. You're different from us. To you, we're just simple accessories. You should hurry up and take it off so you'll feel light. The angel smiled sadly and again shook her head. You're an idiot. I know I am, but I can't help it. I love this place. With teary eyes, the angel said that with a feeling of satisfaction. How can I argue with that? Okay, well, I suppose it can't be helped. Yes, as the angel nodded her head, she stared at me. Her straight eyes were asking me, how about you? I'm going to die soon, you know. Think you can at least tell me that, and the heavens won't punish you. The punishment itself that came to this planet said that irresponsibly. As I carried my belonging on my back, I replied, yeah, I'll be honest. I love this city too. Besides, since that moment, I was possessed by you. However, the angel opened her eyes widely in surprisement. Is that a word? I think surprisement is a word. What does that mean? Must mean I've fallen in love with you. But since then, I just realized that now. When I threw out the words, the angel sparkled her expression, but quickly put her head down. But I'm not a human being. The angel realized something like that just now. Gee, she's a real idiot. You know, there's only one human being left in the world, and that's me. What does that have to do with anything? Oh, you're right. The angel nodded in impression. There's nothing else to talk about. I started walking outside at the time the military gathering approached. See you. Go to someone with a better dream next time. You become a real angel if you do that. My imagination was always twisted. I looked back at her that one last time. The angel answered in her gentle expression, there's no such thing as a real angel. I'd rather stay a fake one. The fantasy said that it will stay as a fantasy. Is that so? Convinced, I left the room. All that was left in the room was my older sister's guitar and the fake angel. Okay, so we have a couple more things here. The Six Sisters Goddo Jushin, gun god. His nickname, given the mission of the bird drop. Some sarcastically call him a god imitator, a rare pure human. He excavated the black barrel from a sealed area and made it his gun. Died during the intercept mission of Type Saturn. So he did die there. And his name was Gun God. That was the main character's name, was Gun God. So my question is the sealed area he excavated from, was it the Atlas Institute? Ultimate 1, Aristoteles. Life forms that come from other planets. They were the strongest life forms on the respective planets, and each of them had the power to wipe out all remaining living beings in the world. The name Aristoteles was given by human, and they have no such things in the first place. The Aristoteles don't fight each other, they just freely fly around killing things. Several Aristoteles among them contacted mankind learning about this planet's concept of knowledge. After Type Saturn, who received orders from their respective planets and sent it to the others, got eliminated, they entered a final war with the human race. Is that the end? I think that's the end. I'm going to double check just in case, because there's a large chance that I just forgot to bring up the final page. Nope, that's the end. Huh. Yeah. That's it. Wow. I enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed it. And there's some interesting concepts here. There's some stuff that's very interesting. However, I also feel like there's some stuff that, I don't know. You know what? His idea of thinking of this, like, this is a short novel. He wants to expand it into a full real series. I would love to read that. This feels like an amazing pitch that I want expanded into something much, much larger. It was really, really interesting. Just the concepts presented. It presented such vivid things in my head, which I love. I love reading a story and having pure, vivid feelings that I can see exactly what's going on, and I hope you were able to as well. If you had a bit of trouble with some of it, understandable. I didn't reference, but it was obviously in non-chronological order, hence the kind of going back and forth between the shooting down and stuff. But the last thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to read now the notes page on the Type Moon wiki here and just see here. Okay. There is apparently more supplementary material to go with it. Okay. Interesting. I almost kind of want to see more. What else is in angel voice? Is it just angel-centric stuff? It's interesting because it really expands on the concept of an angel, you know? And it's just there's some stuff here that I want to, you know, I saw, oh, there's a Type Moon entry for A-rays. What if I click on that? And all of a sudden it gave me quite a bit too much for me. I looked at that, the table of contents, and I said, oh, this stuff is going to absolutely come up later. This stuff is absolutely going to come up later. There's like, it will, which is interesting. So, I'm just looking here. I want to see if there is a proper, like, well, I was going to say, is there a proper order, timeline? I don't know. Because I can't see where else it goes from here. There's no, like, links on it. Oh, you know what? I bet you that one stupid Type Moon flowchart might explain the one that people hate. The one that kind of has way too much. Let's see where Nautz is on there. Let's see here. Including all Type Moon works. I'm going to take a look. And we're going to just talk about this together. So where does Nautz go on here? Because I need to use the flowchart now. And in fact, I could probably even... Here we go. We got the flowchart. It's loading. Let's see. Where do I go from here? I don't want big spoilers. I just want to see where it is and what I need to take a look at on here. Let's see here. Okay, notes. Former related to Tsukihime. Suki no Sango. Oh. Oh. Suki no Sango. Short stories by Nasu, former related to Tsukihime. I've never even heard of Suki no Sango till now. That's interesting. That also raises questions. Do I have Suki no Sango? Is that something that I have? It's a short story. Okay, I don't want to read spoilers though, so I'm not going to read the full wiki page. Do I have it downloaded? I'm sure people in the comments will tell me, hey, you should now read Suki no Sango. Do I have it? I do have it! I have Suki no Sango. Well, that's another one to add to the list. Thank God in this big PDF thing. Oh, it's long. Oh, it's long. Okay, so this one, the nice thing is it's more sequential. But okay, it's a 33-page short novel. That's not too bad. That's not too bad, actually. I might, mind you, this, 12-page one still took an hour to read. But I guess next time we'll be checking out Suki no Sango, especially if it's important for Tsukihime, apparently. Very interesting. Okay, well, thank you all for listening. I really enjoyed Nautz. I would love to see this expanded into something more because it was very, very interesting. It was legitimately enthralling, even if it was like, I don't want to say deep or confusing, but it was good. It was a good sci-fi story, you know? Like, I had those mental images, and I think that was important. So, all right. Thank you all for being here for my first definite trial run of my reading. We're going to work out the kinks later. But, yeah. Thank you all. We'll see you next time. Bye.